Heartland Sports with Luke Randall.
OVC doubleheader at the Show Me Center. The SEMO Redhawks hosting Western Illinois. SEMO had a solid lead in this one in the third quarter, but Western, they start to battle back here. A big reason why? Their center, Mia Nicastro, the Leathernecks, they are doing everything that they can possibly to find her, delay and wait and find her in her inside. SEMO's bigs were in a lot of foul trouble, so that's why she's able to make such an impact. And right there, toward the end of the third, the buzzer beater from Kaylin Reed cuts it to 1. Eventually, SEMO was trailing in this game. Leah Jackson would get the Redhawks back level here with a 3, but a big day from Nicastro hands SEMO a disappointing loss. Head coach Briley Palmer not pleased with the outcome. She did give her players some credit, though.
I mean, they're playing hard. I mean, we're playing hard. I know that they beat us in the rebounding battle, but we didn't. We missed a lot of shots. They didn't. So things like that. But we're stacking it together. We got them to turn it over 22 times. We've just got to figure out what this groove of the subbing and the rotations look like, because we want to play fast, we want to play upbeat.
Moments later, after a pretty funny vegetable race, it was time for the men's game, and we get things going in the Show Me Center. It took a while for either team to get scoring in this one. Eventually, we'd have a pair of free throws each, and we go forward. Brendan Terry would come off the bench and do just that for the Redhawks, and there we go, it's back. And again, the Leathernecks finding a response. Kareek Dixon right there. It was a close first half for much of the way, but in the latter half of it, Marquez Bell and the Redhawks, they really start to pull away. Much to the enjoyment of the fans inside the Show Me Center. A pretty good game for class being out of session. Later on, BJ Ward starts to cook. The 3-ball, that's one, and he would have another one a moment later. Kez would find him, and this one right off the glass in there. BJ, phenomenal first half, and the Redhawks, they really start to pull away. They would end up getting a big margin of victory, 73-50, to get 3 straight wins in OVC play. Hey, another team that's doing pretty good in the OVC in Martin, Tennessee, the UT Martin Skyhawks. A clean sweep today, both the men's and the women's programs winning this afternoon.